WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Glen Moray, or Moray, 21-year-old single malt from a refill hogshead. Yay! Now, the very first thing I want to mention, and this will be my question of the day, it's wrapped in tissue paper. Yay! I'm not sure if I like that or not. All right, so we have the first editions. So now we have the wonderful bottle. Yay! Bravo, bravo, bravo. So what we have here, the first editions is a bottling series from Hunter Lang. So behind Hunter Lang, there's Douglas Lang and Hunter Lang. The Lang family basically divided everything up around 2010. And Hunter Lang was Andrew and Scott Lang, and then Douglas Lang was then the others. And what we have here is their single barrel, cask strength, natural color, non-chilled filtered bottling. So that one of the highest bottles that you can get here in the price as well as the age. So Whiskybase number 104003. This was distilled 1995 and it was bottled 2016. I just bought this bottle a couple of weeks ago, so somewhere it's been on a shelf for over 5 years waiting to be bought. And this is Casknumber HL, Hunter Lang, and then 12831. I have no idea what the numbers have a significance about. And there was a total of 102 bottles from this bourbon hogshead. After 21 years, basically half of the spirit was gone. It still has an ABV of 51.9%, and I paid 124 euros and 90 cents. So my comparison whiskey will be also something from Glen Moray. It's the private cask edition. There we go. And what we have here is a bourbon and sherry matured whiskey. This is 50, whoops, doesn't say here on this one, 52.8%. This was Cask 99505. I've already done a review on this, so that should not be any surprises there. And that was where I had took off the sticker because there was little indentations here where they put the label on the wrong side. Oh well. So I have a tiny little bit left from my German video, so I hope you don't mind that I limit my intake of alcohol here while doing these videos. So Glen Moray is a beautiful distillery. I visited it in 2019 in March. Wow. Over 2 years ago. We lost a COVID year, at least that's what I feel sometimes. If you're in Elgin, you can actually visit Gordon MacPhail, have a shop there, and you go over through a pedestrian residential area. It's like a subdivision basically, and you go up over a hill and you go down, and down at the bottom was the distillery. You park there and I did the tour. It was, I think, a Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock. No one else was on it, just me and one other person, the tour guide, and she was actually learning to become a distiller. One of my best tours at all of the 12 I did during that week in the Speyside. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Great gift shop, and the hand fills from Glen Moray can be just fantastic. All right, so what we have here is a 21-year-old Glen Moray. This is 139 euros. This is 12 years old. This is 124. This is 21 years old. So apparently the Hunter Lang first editions are not yet overpriced. At least the bottles I have bought from them. The next video that you'll see from me is the Tamdhu. This is an 18-year-old from 1999. Also a fairly okay priced whiskey, to be honest. A Tamdhu from a hogshead. So hey, a Tamdhu without sherry. Doesn't happen that often. All right, the first thing I get is it's oily. I get grapes, white grapes. I get a meadow. I'm in Switzerland with Heidi on her little meadow at the top with all those Ricola type of herbal notes here. I get a nice bourbon moment, a little bit of a honey, bourbon as in old bourbon casks. Now, I personally believe that you often go through a type of, you go through phases in your in your whiskey career, let's say that. I personally started off with bourbons. From bourbons, I moved into Irish. From Irish, I moved into Scotch. And with Scotch, I started off more as a sherry bomb type of guy. I'm very slowly making my way towards the peated Islay moments and so on. And what I'm actually at now is I do like a very, very, very well made refill hogshead. A quiet cask, let it sit for maybe 15, 18, 20 plus years. I'm willing to pay 60, 80, 100 euros for that bottle and just have a magnificent dram that's not drowned out by all the finishings that are happening at the moment. I always, every time I have I had a Benriach 20-year-old recently, and they just made it dark like the night with a finish with sherry that was like, you killed the dram. If I wanted, I know you put that for 20 years and then you just put that sherry on top of it. You could have used 8-year-old Benriach. It would have tasted almost the same. And that's what I just hate. If you have an old whiskey, use it, re-rack it into maybe a first fill bourbon if it has to be. But don't always put it in a sherry. Don't always put it in a port. Don't always put it in any other type of rum cask to make it perfect, which it's not. Personal opinion. I'm at that phase of my whiskey development. Maybe one day I'm going to go, hey, I just love those sherried and I love those finished whiskeys again, and I'm just going to adore them. But at the moment, it's just like, oh, if it looks like this could be something wonderful. All right, I think Phil and Deepa are about the same with whiskey mystery sometimes. If you don't know them, just type in whiskey mystery. Great guy, great people. Deepa and Phil, they're just doing excellent blind tasting work there. All right, so on the nose, as I said, this is very, very nice. I like. It was a little bit quiet, but it does reveal itself. We need some time. We need a little bit of patience. It's not one of the things in your face. It's there, and it's like Richard Patterson used to say was, "Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you." Let the whiskey open and talk to you. Don't expect it to scream in your face like a heavily finished whiskey would do, but rather this is almost a gentleman, maybe a lady of a whiskey. Okay, cheers. Mm-hmm. There is a nice oiliness, and simultaneously there's pepper towards the end. The 51.9% is a little bit too hot for me. Just because God made it this way at cask strength doesn't mean that I can't change it. And what I like doing is adding a tiny little bit of water and seeing what happens. So I'm going to take this from 51.9 and take it down to 48%. And what do I get? I get a much, much better whiskey, in my personal opinion. The oiliness actually is ramped up, and that pepper alcohol sharpness actually is much, much subtle. Even in the nose, I get a much, much better dram that way. I can highly recommend 1, 2 drops, or even a half a teaspoon sometimes, and try it. Waste a dram and figure out, or waste a centiliter of whiskey and figure out what is the best way to drink it. They just bottled it the way it was from the cask. No one said that you have to drink it exactly at that strength. Mmm. 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 I think I mentioned this about a couple weeks ago. I would love, and I mean the word literally love, to have exactly this type of whiskey from 30 different distilleries. A 21-year-old refill hogshead at cask strength, usually between 50 and 53%, after 21 years, and just the refill hogshead, and try them one beside the other to get to know the character of the distillery much better. It's not, I don't know of anyone that offers exactly that type of specs. If anyone knows, please tell me. I might just go buy 20 some bottles and just do a tasting with a couple people over a couple nights and just take a look and see what that is. Beautiful. This is a quiet cask. This is very, very subtle, but this is very, very nice. Very buttery. A lot of buttery, a little bit of an herbalness, tiny little bit of a spice in there. I still get that a little bit of that meadow type of wildflowers, a little bit of grass, not much, no grass, wildflowers. I'm going to read here what the label says. A light and sweet nose of apples. Okay, that's the word I do not use for whiskey a lot, apples. Vanilla and milk chocolate. I don't get the chocolate. I get buttery moments. The palate is sweet and slightly herbal with grass, flowers, and a touch of spice. The finish is medium length with a hint of pepper. Bottled at cask strength, non-chilled filtered, not colored. Approved by Andrew Lang and one of 102 bottles from a refill Hogshead, reference number HL12831. That's all the information on the label. I basically read the whole label on the back, nothing's there. And the first edition, one of the premium leagues here for the Hunter Lang series. Very good. They have Hepburn's Choice. They have the first edition and something else, I think, in between there. All right. Wow. I have no idea where the 102 bottles went to. If you go online to Whiskybase 104003, you will find that basically 2 people have voted for this bottle and 3 people have it in their collection. Not very many. I have one as well. Somebody drank them, and I think the price is absolutely fair. Okay. I'm going to give this a C plus with water. C plus plus. No. B minus minus, no. It's a C plus plus. Value for money, it's more of a C to C minus. But I'm going to say, where else can you find a 21-year-old single malt whiskey at cask strength, single barrel, natural color, non-chilled filtered for 124 euros? At the moment, often I have the rule of thumb, anything over basically 12 years of age, they're starting to go for 10 euros per year. So if they actually offered, asked 210 euros for this, it would be like, oh, that's a little bit expensive. 224 is like, oh, wow, that's almost a bargain. Now, you have to have the money to do that, I know. Over here, the Glen Moray is 12 years old. It was 139 euros, all right? So 52.8, 51.9, so not much difference. There was a sherry cask involved, but those 12 years of maturation means there's much, much more of an angel share here and much less of whiskey missing there. There's a little bit of an acidity moment. That sherry is there. I definitely like this a little bit better today. The more I get acquainted with this whiskey, the more I like it. All right. So my question was tissue paper around single malt whiskey or bottles of whiskey from any country for that matter, yes or no? And if so, which ones have you had? And what Glen Morays can you recommend that are cask strength? Maybe cask strength, and even if they're a single barrel, don't say hand fills from the distillery unless I can buy them somewhere. That would be my question of the day. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, tell others. Share this video if you like. And write down in the comments what are your opinions about Glen Moray. And if you've had anything really, really good from them. Thank you very much for watching. All the best. Whiskey Jason. Bye.